Hey everybody. I'm back. My apologies for leaving you all hanging. Just trying to get some sound issues right. I really want to get it right for you guys. I know every week there's a lot of tweaking going on, so let's try that again. Hi everybody, thank you so much for tuning in on Sunday night. All right, we're back and I don't hear my voice, which is fantastic news. Gonna bring in my Instagram friends as well. I'm back. My apologies for... So, yeah, straight from the studio today. Super excited to be hanging out on Sunday as the sun goes down. Hi, Jonathan. Thank you very much. Ed is saying, I see smoke. I hope that is intentional. It's intentional. It's incense burning, my friends. And it smells so good, and the apartment is not burning down. You are all so kind to keep your eyes out. Hello, Glenn. Hi, Dad. Hi, John. Hi, Mom. Hi, Michael. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. What's up, Instagram? Hi, YouTube, Twitch. All right. So got something a little bit different setup-wise. Got my keyboard action happening this week. You guys can also see got some sound panels finally on the walls. It's finally becoming the music studio that I was always dreaming of. So, this is a small keyboard, so it only has an octave, but I figured it would still be great to play some stuff for you guys. And I set the marimba on it. Instagram, you cannot hear this right now, so if you want to go hear it, go to Facebook or YouTube or Twitch, because they're hooked into my sound system. Listen to that. Oh, it's so beautiful. Thank you, E.T. Sunny Sundays with Grace Kelly. That's me. Sunny Sundays with Grace Kelly. Or I like to call myself Grace Jelly. Grab your tea, or if you prefer coffee. Coffee, I have the coffee in my hand. Sunny Sundays, sunny Sundays with me. Boom! That is what is happening. Hello, Gerald. Hi, Nuno. Where you guys tuned in from? I always love to know, because it always amazes me that we have so many international friends, and we have friends all around the coast, and is this a better time to do Sunny Sundays? Maybe it's better to do it at night. It's 7 o'clock my time, EST. So there's been a lot of things cooking lately. I want to fill you guys in on all the awesomeness happening. It's been a busy week since we last talked. We, meaning my band, played the Newport Jazz Festival, which was freaking awesome. We played on Saturday, and there was torrential rain, but it did not stop us. We had thousands of people gathered in the tent. It was a stage with a tent above, and the band killed it. I had so much fun. It flew by. The energy was crazy. The audience was like so amazing. Literally, there is something so electric in the air with the Newport Jazz Festival, and this year was such a cool lineup. Christian McBride, artistic director, along with Jay Sweet, who is producer for the Newport Jazz Festival, and of course the legendary George Wein, who's been the heart of Newport for all of these years. And, you know, there were just so many amazing bands, from legends like saxophonist Charles Lloyd to Living Colors, playing like heavy rock and metal, to Sunny Moon, doing really cool indie stuff, Corey Henry, Robert Glasper, R&R Now, Andrew Day. It was so lit and awesome. Hello, Portland, Oregon. Oh, John is tuned in from Manhattan. Hi, Katrina. I know you're in New York, too. Yay! Thank you for tuning in. Bernard from Quebec. Wow, 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 wow. We got Instagram friends from all around the globe. This is so awesome. So Newport Jazz Fest was fantastic. And I have to tell you guys a little story. This is literally one of my favorite things ever. During my set at the Newport Jazz Festival, I played this song of mine called Lemons Make Lemonade. And I made these really special, well, I didn't make them. I have a team member who produced these really special blow-up saxophones, and we put a special edition Newport Jazz Festival sticker on them. By the way, how many times have I said special in that last sentence? There's a lot of special things going on, my friends. So, this is what they look like. This is an awesome blow-up yellow saxophone. If you love it, please show it some hearts because I'm kind of in love with them. And what ended up happening is my mom and a friend of mine, Gary, passed out a bunch of these bright pink and yellow blow-up saxophones to tons of audience members. And then in the middle of the song, I went out in the crowd with my saxophone, my real saxophone, and I started dancing with people, and we had this amazing circle just happen where tons of people were all joining in the dance blow-up sax party, and all these people were like dancing with me and pretending to play the saxophone on the blow-up horn. Guys, it was literally like the most fun thing ever, and I'm so excited that you are all hearting and smiley facing because that also means that you think that these blow-up saxophone toys are as adorable as I think they are. And here is, for those of you who can see it, this is a special edition Newport Jazz Fest sticker. So you can imagine there was just like tons of people rocking the blow-up saxophones. They were playing with me. I went all around the crowd. We will send you some video later. I'll be posting some of that because I had some of my favorite men out there filming and getting deep in it with the crowd. It was so much fun. I literally could have played the whole set like that, guys, with just tons of people jamming. I had these girls, these middle school girls who came up to me and they started like literally doing my moves with me, and they were just, it was so great. So that was the most special thing that happened this week, and I can't tell you how big of a smile I had. There is literally no better feeling than having tons of people jam out on blow-up saxes. I hope heaven is just everybody running around playing real saxophones and blow-up saxophones and just having like a giant dance party, because that to me sounds really awesome. What do you think? I think you guys like it too. I'm seeing all these hearts. Yes, 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 yes. And my mom is saying it was an amazing set. So there you go. There you go, folks. My mom said that Newport was an amazing set. So, and Instagram, I did a whole highlight reel that you can still see on my profile of all those cool video stories that were happening. My friend Sheesh was filming a bunch of it behind the scenes. My boyfriend Pasha was also filming a bunch of it. Yes, Patrina, the power of music. The power of music is so infectious. It's such a high vibration. It's so joyous. And thanks to all of you for also thinking it's so joyous and being there at the shows and being here right now. Hi, Diane, tuned in from YouTube in New York. Iris is tuned in from Indiana. Wow, we have a friend from Argentina. I love it. What's up, George? We got to do that lesson soon. You got to hit me up. That Barry sax on the right. Don't think we don't see that. Okay, she's gonna make an appearance. I got your message, by the way. Gonna check it out. So Newport happened, and then we played in Cape Cod in Chatham, Massachusetts. 10th year playing the Cape Cod Jazz Festival. Such a great time. We had hundreds of people out there. It's an outdoor festival. Beautiful night. It was really humid, so I was literally sweating balls, but a lot of fun. And then we played in Rockport, Massachusetts, in one of my favorite halls called the Shaylin Liu Performance Center. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Literally looking out to the ocean, and the sound in there is just pristine. The wood, the acoustics, the look. The band played amazing. It was a sold-out show. Were any of you there? Any of you guys tuned in? It was so wonderful to see a lot of familiar faces. So that was really an amazing time. What I'd love to do, friends, is during this live stream, if you have song suggestions, boom, 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 just like hit me up, write some of those in the comments below, and I'm going to kind of interject playing while I'm talking because I have so much to share, but I don't want to bore you with talking too much. So by all means, put in some song suggestions. Somebody's already saying play something. John, it was a very fun way. Oh, thank you. A creative way to share with the crowd. Well, I'd like to think so too, and I think it did go over very creatively. People had big smiles on their faces, which that in itself is a huge success. The Real Landscaper. Oh, you were at the Newport Jazz Fest. Fantastic. It was the best concert. You are so kind. David Ando, I am so glad you got the new CD. Thank you so much. I saw that Mike suggested a little Here's That Rainy Day earlier in the comments section. I love that one. Here's That Rainy Day. Somebody on Instagram is asking what type of mic I'm using. This is actually a GPA mic. Highly recommend this setup. It works beautifully for a lot of instruments. I use this in my live show on my saxophone. It's paired with my Electrosonics wireless unit. And that also comes with, obviously, the Electrosonics wireless box. But it's great because I'm literally able to roam the stage, and the sound quality is killer. Highly, highly recommended. Hi, David Warnoff. I just saw David in Rockport. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Stormy weather. Keeps raining all the time. Don't know why. There's no sun up in the sky. Stormy weather, David. But you made it to Rockport, Massachusetts. Even though the rain clouds were coming in Newport, Rhode Island. Hi, sister. My sister Christina just tuned in. Give her some hearts. Yay, 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 yay. These are wonderful song suggestions. Thank you so much. Irish Drinker is asking for a shout out. What's up? What's up? Thank you for tuning in on YouTube. Where are you tuned in from? What kind of mouthpiece am I using? Folks, this is a Van Doren V16 series mouthpiece. It is the A8. I love it. It's dark. It's round. I've been playing it for years. I pair that with the Java Green Box size 2.5 reeds. We're getting a little nerdy right now. We're going there. But I know a lot of you are saxophonists out there. Actually, if you are a saxophonist, do comment and send a little heart so I know that we're not nerding out just for me. All right, there's one heart. Okay, so there's definitely one other saxophonist. Oh, okay, there's more. Yay. So it's a Java Green Box size 2.5 reed. The ligature, the MO ligature, which I love. It's very easy to move around, and it's a darker ligature. I actually started on a Meyer 5 mouthpiece, and then I went to Van Doren, became one of their artists, endorsed their products because I love them, and I only endorse what I love, equipment-wise. And then I went to the A6, but now I'm on the A8, and it's an S+. So for those of you who have never tried Van Doren products, definitely, definitely love, love, love. Hi, sister. Africa by Toto. That's a great one. That's a really great thought of a cover song. Hi, Rick. Oh, thank you so much for the heart. So there's a lot of other fantastic stuff that's been happening. I just dropped a new video on YouTube. If you guys haven't seen it, please, please, please go check it out and share it with all of your friends, all of your music friends, and especially if you play saxophone and if you have saxophone friends, because this video is called Saxophone Practice 101. And it's like a long form video where I am actually walking up a hill as I play and showing you guys a bunch of different sax techniques, from articulation things to growling to bending notes, and of course there are a few dance breaks within it because that just has to happen. And I'm hoping that it'll be pretty helpful because it's basically like a regular performance video, but there's text that goes along with it showing the different techniques that I'm doing. And the text is only available on the YouTube version. I've been putting up a bunch of different versions on Instagram and Facebook, but definitely go check it out. And I would love to know what you think about it because I get a lot of you asking me questions about saxophone and about music stuff. So I'm hoping that this way of doing it, of kind of performing and then breaking it down for you guys via text, would be very helpful. Fred Taylor Scholarship Fund is requesting My Little Suede Shoes by Charlie Parker. Fun note, that was actually one of the first songs I ever played in my first performance in front of people, my first band leading performance when I was 12 years old. And I actually tap danced at the same time that I played the saxophone. Because yes, I was seriously into tap dancing when I was 12. Blue suede shoes. Hi Jessica, thanks for tuning in on Instagram. I just wanted to stop by and say that you inspired me to learn how to growl. My private lesson teacher said girls can't growl. Prove them wrong, sister. Well, Jessica, congratulations. I don't know who in their right mind would say girls can't growl. I'm so glad that you have persevered and learned how to growl, because growling on the saxophone is literally like one of the greatest feelings ever. Am I right, saxophonists? Can we get some hearts? I mean, to be able to just bust out some serious, hardcore aggression. That's like the heart of rock and roll saxophone. So good for you for persevering, and now what you can add to your growls is some bends. That's a really nice way to kind of start mixing up different techniques. Yes, George Woolley is saying growling is essential. It absolutely is. I have some other really exciting news, everybody. I am headed to Korea in October. I'm so excited. I haven't been to Korea for literally, like, the last time I was there was 10 years ago. I was 16. And believe it or not, I really haven't played in Asia minus just like 2 times. I've never been to Japan. I've never been to China. I've been touring in Europe ever since I was 16 years old and done probably over a dozen tours there, but never in Asia. So I got invited to be there with my band to play one of the biggest music festivals called Shoutouts, and it apparently has tens of thousands of people who come every year, and they love jazz, and I'm so excited. We're playing on the main stage, and then I'm going to be there for a week, and I'm hoping to put together a really cool YouTube video what kind of is basically a vlog of my time there, and I really want to highlight all the great food, fashion, culture, and music. I don't know, is that something you guys would like to see? Any hearts? I am a huge Anthony Bourdain fan, and I also love to follow a lot of travel vlogs on YouTube, so I'm thinking that this could be a really nice way to merge my trip and kind of go out on the streets in Seoul, Korea, and bring it to you guys on your screen. So if you have any suggestions about what to do in Seoul, or if you have any friends there, or you have any friends in the music industry or in video production, definitely let me know, because I am very excited about this trip. Iris is saying, yes! Yes! Bob is saying, do it! Okay, so this is going to happen. I'm really excited. And I have a friend named Bill, who is also going to be in Korea at the same time, and I think he's going to help me put together this vlogging video, and he's an amazing person and supporter, and we just had dinner and we were discussing it, so I'm glad you guys are excited about it as well. Mike, yes, exactly, the motherland. That's my roots is Korea. I was born in the United States, and my last name is Kelly, which is probably like as American as it sounds, but I was adopted when I was young. But my roots are Korean, so I have from now until October to actually learn some Korean, because right now I only know a little. 잘했음 애씀 만나요. How'd I do, Mom? How'd I do? 고맙습니다. My mom was trying to teach me some phrases the other day, and it was pretty hilarious. Do you guys know any Korean? You could help me out with some pronunciation. So, wow, Matthew is saying that he just went to Korea and Japan this year. How cool. Loved it so much. Seoul is a great place to visit or live. Well, tell me, what are your favorite places to go? Where do I have to go to play a pop-up? I want to know like the underground, really cool spots, and then do a bunch of vlogging there. So we got a bunch of comments coming in from friends. Gerald. Yes, you spent a lot of time in Japan. So I'm hoping in the future to spend a lot more time in Asia, because I certainly love Asian culture, and I love Korean food so much. So what's been going on right now? I basically am on a little break from performances. As you guys know, I did a long West Coast tour, and then just did a bunch of stuff in Massachusetts. And I'm back home now in New York, and just got back from a recording session. I have been exploring a lot of dance lately. A good friend of mine is an amazing acro yoga artist and dancer, and so we've been actually choreographing a bunch of new moves to some of my upcoming music, and been merging acro yoga to jazz and house dance. Have you ever heard of that? It's been really, really fun, really, really challenging. I, for the first time in my life, have been doing headstands and handstands, and I never thought that I could do them. I'd love to know, do you guys do headstands? It's really good for, like it's great to flip upside down, but I was just always that person in yoga class that would be in the back as everyone was like on their heads. I'm like, I can never do that. Turns out you totally can do things that you think you cannot do, and it's much easier to do them in baby steps and to get an instructor who can help you get there. Because right now I'm like climbing against the wall doing headstands and kind of amazed that I can do it. So I still have a long way to go, but like I said, it's been baby steps, and it's always exciting to learn something new, And dance has certainly been a very challenging thing, especially with the saxophone. So yeah, we've been merging all these new steps, and I've been slowing the process down. What I do when we learn new moves is I tape my teacher on my phone. I film my teacher on my phone. Shout out to Ara. He's a fantastic friend and instructor. And then I go on my own time every day, and I just try to practice some of these moves, and I literally slow it down on video, which all of you can do as well, whether it's audio or video. YouTube even has this button where you can slow things down and speed them up. And then the other really important part about learning a new dance move for me is filming it, because sometimes I think I'm totally getting it, and then I film myself, and then I watch myself, and I'm like, oh, I didn't quite get it. So that has been something that I've been up to, and it's been a really awesome challenge, and I'm planning to do a lot more in the dance world. I think it's so exciting to merge music and dance and try to stretch performance art as much as possible. Do you guys have any questions? I have a lot to say about the things that are going on now. There's always a lot of exciting stuff happening, but I, of course, always love to answer your questions and your song requests. I've been reading a really great book recently that I highly recommend to all of you. I brought it here. It's called The Essentialist. Can you tell? It's just white. No, actually, we we took the cover off, but this makes it feel much more like The Essentialist. And it's by Greg. I'm sorry. It's called Essentialism by Greg Mckeown, and I hope I'm saying that right. By Greg, and I'm kind of like halfway through it, and it's basically about stripping things down and figuring out priorities in your life and reorganizing, and that is so helpful for me. I don't know if there's a lot of artist friends out there, but my mind tends to be incredibly spacey, and it's really hard for me to make lists and kind of go through things in a regular order because I just feel like I'm very used to doing things out of the box, and I think that's totally that is a really strong suit for creating and for writing music, because I just kind of go into this dream state. But then there's many times that I feel like I want to crack down on things and get down to good time management and work on all of these other business things as well. So this has been really helpful for me. I want to read you guys a little section of it, because for anyone who's interested about essentialism and stripping down things to your priorities and making more time for yourself and the things you care about and the people you care about in your life, then I highly recommend this book. So in chapter 9, Greg writes, in a piece called No More Yes, it's either hell yeah or no. The popular TED speaker Derek Silvers, I'm going to start that again. In a piece called No More Yes, it's either hell yeah or no. The popular TED speaker Derek Sivers describes a simple technique for becoming more selective in the choices we make. The key is to put the decision to an extreme test. If we feel total and utter conviction to do something, then we say yes, Derek style. Anything less gets a thumbs down. Or as a leader at Twitter once put it to me, if the answer is a definite yes, then it should be... If the answer isn't a definite yes, then it should be a no. It is a succinct summary of a core essentialist principle, and one that is critical to the process of exploration. Boom. I don't know. If it resonated with you, definitely tap those hearts. This is something that I feel really strongly about, because in the creative world and being an artist, and especially being a band leader, there's a lot of opportunities that come my way, and I'm grateful for that. A lot of people hitting me up, asking me to be a part of projects and things like that, and it's really, really easy and tempting to say yes to everything, because I love to say yes, and I love to do a million things, but I'm realizing now that if I want to spend the most time on things that are really important to me and on my priority list, which one of the top priorities is making music for all of you and being out there as a band leader and as an artist, then it also means that I have to I have to say hell yeah to all the things I really want to do, and say no to the things that don't seem to resonate as much right now. I think the beautiful thing about living one's life by saying hell yeah is that you literally always wake up with energy and excitement. Every day I'm so excited to go to work and to be a part of the projects that I'm part of. So if you're feeling like you need more energy in your life and you want to really prioritize your life, maybe trying this idea of, is it hell yeah or is it no, might be a good one. Might be some good inspiration for all of you. Fun to play that low A. My Barry players know what I'm talking about. It's just like, it shakes the room, it shakes my body all day. Low A's all day. There should be a shirt that says low A's all day. Maybe I'll make that shirt. Would you get that shirt? George, would you get that shirt? So one of the things that has been super essential to me recently is getting some practicing time in and spending time with my saxophone family, and that means actually spending more time with the big mama. I call her the big mama. Mwah! She's my Yamaha YBS 62, and I played her so much when I was in the house band for The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and I love her dearly. So we've been spending more time together, and something that I've been exploring on the baritone is trying to get into multiphonics and to expand in my overtone, in the overtone series, and to make some really weird sounds on the baritone. For any of you non-saxophones out there, the overtone series is a way that we open up our sound, and there's a lot of exercises and practices that go with that. So I'm trying to slow the whole process down and kind of get back to the fundamentals and the basics of overtones and see what other sounds I can create out of the baritone saxophone. Is really good at all those sounds. So anyways, he's been an inspiration for trying to get all of the multiphonic stuff together. It's kind of a slow process. I mean, learning anything new, and that totally goes for me and music, it's very much a process. But the good news about practicing is that if you're practicing it correctly, eventually you're going to get to that place where it's sounding like you want it to sound. So it's always great to get back to fundamentals, and if I have any other music people out there and other saxophonists, highly recommend getting those long tones and overtones happening again. That's fantastic. Somebody is saying that they've been working on that a lot too. Really, really cool. Well, that's perfect timing. That I'm talking about multiphonics, and you've been working on it as well. You got to DM me some of your multiphonics. So I'd love to take, I don't know, do you guys have any questions? Because I'd love to answer some questions and play you some more songs as well. Let's see if any friends are, somebody's asking, what mouthpiece do I play on Barry? This is the B9. Again, it's a Van Doren mouthpiece. I love it. Britton's asking, do you like Mindy a bear? Mindy is actually a friend of mine, and she is so wonderful. The Piatanic is also saying, you love that. I love that low A. I would totally buy that shirt. Okay, well, then we got to make that shirt happen. So I've gotten some really fantastic questions over the last week on Instagram, and I wanted to answer some of these questions in our time together. And of course, if you guys have more questions right now, hit me up. Oh, this is a great one coming in. Iris is asking, what are your favorite licks to use during improv? So when I improvise, I am totally in spontaneous mode. I don't really have licks that I pre-plan when I'm performing. Of course, there's some improv lines that are, very much under my fingers and they just come out. But I never have it planned so that I'm saying to myself, oh, in bar 4, I'm going to put in that new lick. I actually totally trip up when I do that. So I have to have it be this very organic thing. When I improvise, I'm actually singing in my head. And because I'm also a singer, it's like incredibly important to me that I can hear all of the phrases that I'm playing. So I do this exercise where I play phrases on the saxophone. And I also sing them. Do, 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 do. And then I also do it in the opposite order where I'll sing a phrase because I got it locked in my brain, and then I'll play it. And that really ensures that there's ear training going on, that everything I'm playing on the saxophone is something that's simultaneously coming out in my brain. And if you're trying to get into more of this organic way of improvising, I highly recommend slowing it down. That's always the number one thing. And start singing your phrases and then try to try to play those phrases back. And this is a good one to practice with your recorder on so that you can constantly check your pitches. So check it out. Here, I'm going to sing you a phrase that fits well in my vocal range. La, 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 la. And then I will play that phrase. La, 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 la. Again, I'm going to play it. And it's got to this point now that is so ingrained that what I hear in my head and what I sing is what comes out of my fingers that I can actually practice saxophone. I can airplay the saxophone on an airplane. I can literally do this. And I know what I'm playing. And a lot of times I don't have, when I'm traveling, I'm not able to actually whip out my saxophone on the airplane. I don't know, maybe I could. I've never tried. But I can literally go through it in my head. And when I kind of play something, airplay, whether it's chromatic or scales, la 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 la, then I can play it on the saxophone as well. Or the lick. Da 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 la 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 la. You guys always want me to play the lick. All my Instagram friends always want me to play the lick. Okay, so I got an assignment for you guys on Instagram. Play the lick in every key to 100 BPM. There you go. And then play it down, and then play it in minor thirds. Here's minor thirds. Then do it in fourths, then do it in fifths, then do it in minor sixths, and then do it in octaves. Okay, I'm done. Anyways, that's a great exercise. Every time you have gotten a lick down under your fingers, I highly recommend transposing it to every key, because if it's easy in the key of C, it probably won't be as easy in the key of G flat. Okay, Haley said she found her next practicing method, just the lick. Just the lick in all keys, and then DM me and send me a video so that I can see that you've done it, and I will give you my feedback on that. So I love it. I love how I'm getting song suggestions and getting the lick suggestions as well. Larry, thank you so much. Larry is commenting, and I just saw Larry in Rockport, Mass. He's saying, friends are amazed at your lung capacity. How do you do it? I will give a little tip for when people are playing or singing. You have a lot of ribs in the back, and a lot of people, when they're breathing and gaining oxygen, are breathing really shallowly. There's a lot of us, then we say take a breath. That's it. That's tiny. We're just kind of using only a tiny bit of our lungs. So when the next time you think about breathing and taking a breath, I want you to put your fingers on your back and on your upper back by your shoulder blades, and then I want you to breathe in, and you should actually be pushing out your fingers. So check it out. For those of you who are watching on video, you can see, boom, like arms are moving out. And then I would say hold that for a good 10 to 15 seconds. And then start to exhale slowly. And again, when you exhale, you should feel your lungs go. So they're basically going out and in. And you want to relax your throat, and you want to relax your shoulders, and really focus on those core rib cage back muscles. And then when you play, be really aware, or you sing, be really aware that sound is coming through your lungs, from the front, from the back, and most importantly, from the ground. There's a lot of us forget that, it's important to stay grounded instead of just breathing super shallowly up here, because you're going to get the most energy, you're going to get the most lung capacity when you're rooted, and you can use the floor as you play and project. Okay, Larry, that was probably a much, much longer explanation than you were expecting, but I'm very, what can I say? I'm flattered that your friends are in awe of my lung capacity. I will say that playing the baritone takes a lot more air, and it's really fun because when you do just like play long tones and you pop out that low A, it literally gets more oxygen happening in my brain and in my body. It's kind of like after you finish a workout, you just feel good, you're like stretched, you're ready to go with your day. That's what playing a woodwind does, or that's what like deep breathing will do. So if you do not play a woodwind or you don't sing, I highly recommend you do it, because not only is it great for your brain and for your soul, but it's also great for your bloodstream and your lungs. So get to it, people. So Manny is asking, can you talk about your experience playing and recording with Phil Woods? Phil Woods is one of my mentors, and he was one of my first saxophone inspirations. Live at the Showboat is literally one of my favorite albums on this planet. And the first time I got to meet Phil, I was 14 years old. I actually went to the Stanford Jazz residency camp in Stanford, California, because I saw that Phil Woods was on faculty there. It's only a week-long program. I highly recommend it to anybody who wants to advance their skills and go to a great jazz summer camp. So I actually got to meet my saxophone hero, Phil Woods, there, and as fate would have it, I was in an ensemble before the ensemble that he taught. So he used to come early, and he would check out my playing, and he would always just say the most supportive things and be like, yeah, girl, you got it. And it was just like, it's so mind-blowing, right? Because it's literally one of my heroes on the saxophone. And then a week after Stanford, he was playing in Massachusetts, and I grew up in Brookline, Mass. And he asked me if I wanted to sit in. I had my saxophone with me, and I sat in with him. This performance is actually on YouTube, so you guys can all you can just put it in, Grace Kelly and Phil Woods. And after my solo, he gave his legendary leather cap, and he put it on my head. And I was so moved. After his solo, I figured I needed to give it back. So I gave it back to him, and he said, no, you keep it. You keep that hat. It looks great on you. And this is his leather cap that he's worn on so many of his album covers. It's well worn over the last 30 years, and after that he got his own brand new shiny leather cap, and we did a tour together. We did an album together called Man with the Hat. We played at the Playboy Jazz Festival, at the Hollywood Bowl. We played at the Oslo Jazz Festival. We played at the Montreux Jazz Fest in Newport, at the Newport Jazz Fest, and I can't tell you what his mentorship and getting to spend time with him means, because he's literally just one of the greatest saxophonists. Him and another mentor of mine, Lee Conants, are just, I'm so grateful to have their mentorship and get to record with them and be on the road with them. So I'm glad that you asked about that, because Phil Woods is just one of the greats, and if you don't know his playing, YouTube, Google, get all his albums and recordings, especially if you are looking for some great saxophone improvisers. He is an amazing one to start out with. I know a lot of you have been asking me who you should check out. So my boyfriend Pasha, who is he's the biggest part of setting up this live stream so that it sounds good, is messaging me saying that the lights are going down. And I know somebody just mentioned on YouTube, they're asking if the lights are going off because I have no makeup on. I actually do have makeup on. But the lights are going down because the sun is going down. So this is Pasha, everybody. It's my boyfriend.
Hey, everybody.
Say hi. And he is adjusting the lights because it does look really dark in there. And Pasha is also a wonderful guitarist. We were jamming before the live stream. I think one of these days he should make an appearance. What do you think? Should he play a little guitar with me?
How's that look? That's good.
Is it brighter? Let's see.
Yeah.
He just adjusted the exposure. Maxence, I'm a big fan,
Pretty good.
especially when you're with Leo P, and I was wondering, how did you meet him? Thank you so much, Maxence. I'm so glad you're a big fan. Thanks for finding me on YouTube. Leo and I actually originally connected on Instagram. I've been a huge fan of his for years. I actually remember first seeing that viral Subway video, and I remember reposting it, being like, this guy is insane. And then years later, I was hit up by a friend who's a wonderful trombone player, and he's the band leader for this band called Lucky Chops. They do a lot of touring all around the globe. And Leo used to play in Leo used to play in Lucky Chops, and then he started his band Too Many Zoos. And it was through that connection with Josh that basically I just struck up this connection with Leo, and we kept Instagramming each other. And then at one point I was like, we should meet. We both were like, yeah, we should meet. We should just like jam. And we got together when he was in New York. This was actually just about a year ago. We only met a year ago. And we instantly hit it off, playing, just jamming together, and then started like sharing. He was showing me a lot of his cool dance moves, and then we just started to choreograph and write music. And we did this really epic live stream where we went all around New York City, and we came up with all these different songs and recorded it in a day. And then I was so excited that Leo joined my band when we were recording last February in Brooklyn, New York for one of my albums, Go Time Brooklyn, which is kind of a video album. You can see our collaboration on YouTube with my band. It's a song of his called Fish and Chips, and we choreographed it together. And a lot of you on Instagram and on Facebook, and you guys have been doing your own cover versions. Some of you have been learning all the dance moves and playing the saxes, which has been blowing my mind. So Leo is killing it out there. He's such an inspiration. He has so much energy. He is so unique as an artist, and he's got the most amount of hustle and drive. Man, it is incredibly inspiring, especially when I'm catching up with his posts and I see that he's all around the globe touring. So I hope we can do some more musicking together. It's been exciting to see so many of you have really dug our collaborations. What I can say from the artist point of view is that there's nothing greater than the feeling of exciting collaborations with another artist that pushes you and that brings out something different in both people. I think that's the key to a great collaboration, that all people in the room can feed new ideas and everyone's open to it, and then you end up coming up with some magical new thing together. And in all of the collaborations we've done, we've never had more than one day to rehearse just because of our schedules. And it's also amazing the amount of stuff and content that you can come up with, or that we've come up with literally in such a limited amount of time. So if you haven't seen our collaborations, they're all up on YouTube, and Paul is tuned in from Delaware Water Gap. I love Delaware Water Gap. I've done a bunch of playing there. That's also where Phil Woods is. That was his home for the majority of his later years. Unfortunately, he has passed on, but he has a very special festival called CODA, the CODA Fest, that happens in Delaware Water Gap. So if you live there, I'd definitely check it out. They got some incredible people playing, and I'm always paying tribute to Phil. Glenn is asking what neck strap this is. So this is a pretty blinged out green neck strap, and shout out to my father, Bob Kelly, for making me a custom strap. It's literally a regular saxophone strap underneath, and my dad put in a bunch of extra cushion, and because my hair is green and because I love the color green, he blinged it out, and some of this small detail is literally green nail polish. He is very, very good at building and making things, so I'm lucky to have my own custom neck strap that looks great and is very, very comfy. Maxence, thank you so much. Wow, if you and Leo want to come jam in France, my home is open to you. That is so kind. You're all so kind. I can't tell you the amount of you who have just reached out to invite me over or invite me to have a meal with you or coffee, and I wish I could do all these things with all of you when I'm traveling. Usually time is so limited, but to have you all tune in online and to comment and to say such nice things like that is really incredibly warming. Oh my gosh. I know Glenn, I think it was Glenn, asked for some Moanin', and we got some Instagram friends also asking about Moanin'. This is a Bobby Timmons song. Suggestion. I'm glad the brightness is fixed for all of you on Facebook. I can't believe there's still a bunch of you tuned in. I'm glad that I'm not talking so much. I figured I'd try to balance this with talking and playing. So there were a few other questions that came in this week from Instagram that I thought were really, really great. Fam is asking, do you think jazz can become mainstream again, beyond musicals and late-night TV shows? That is a fantastic question, and it definitely speaks right to my heart because, A, I love jazz, and there's nothing more than I would love to see it become mainstream. And also, I played in a late-show television band, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, so that was a very exciting thing because that was very much a way for a lot of the public to hear jazz for the first time. And John Batiste, who's such a brilliant band leader and a pianist and a singer, and his roots come from New Orleans, and he's such an incredible champion for jazz, has made it a very accessible thing and brought on such an amazing band. I had the time of my life when I was working with all of those guys, and there was nothing more exciting than getting random messages from new fans and people saying, I'd never listened to jazz before, but I saw you on The Late Show, and then I researched you, and I found that I really like jazz. I think a lot of people think of jazz as this very old art form, and they think that, younger people might think that it's music of their grandparents' generation, or some people think it literally just ended with John Coltrane and Miles Davis, and those amazing artists are certainly the grandfathers of jazz, but there are so many different iterations of jazz today. At the Newport Jazz Festival alone, there were so many brilliant artists: Corey Henry, Robert Glasper, Christian Scott. The list went on. Pat Metheny. We were actually playing at the same time. And there's so many young millennial cats who are out there doing their own jazz and really merging so many cool other music genres within that. Jacob Collier from the UK is a brilliant multi-instrumentalist, and he's just so talented. It literally just makes me I have to pick my jaw up from the ground. I would just love to collab with him one day. He's brilliant. Snarky Puppy, Esperanza Spalding, Jamie Cullum, John Batiste, huge fan of his, along with getting to play with him. He also played at Newport. There are just so many cool things that are happening in the world of jazz today, of merging jazz with hip-hop, with contemporary music. When you listen to Kendrick Lamar, there's tons of jazz aspects within that, and they have literally on his record are people I know from LA that are jazz musicians. A lot of hip-hop, and big fan of Chance the Rapper. He also works with a lot of brilliant jazz artists. I think the biggest thing about jazz not reaching the mainstream is almost the word itself. And if you have thoughts about that, by all means, would love to have you comment in about it, because I'm very passionate about this topic. I find it incredibly interesting. I think that it might be one of those words that people feel like they need to be educated on jazz in order to enjoy listening to it. And I very strongly think that music is music, and you don't, if it hits you, it hits you, and you don't need to take a college class on how to listen to jazz. It's something that, as an artist who integrates jazz, and that's my roots, it's something that we very much want you as the audience to just enjoy. And I'd say that for those people who have walked into a jazz concert and walked right out because they didn't really enjoy it, well, there's about a bajillion other types of jazz. So to not lose hope, don't give up. The most important thing about jazz, in my mind, is the art of improvisation. There is no other art form that I find so freeing, so spontaneous. The fact that I can play a song a million different ways depending on how I feel and depending on how I feel like improvising in that moment is the greatest source of expression and inspiration. I was just playing the Bobby Timmons song Moanin', and I can play it for you right now again and play it in a completely different way with a completely different improvisation, and that is something that's celebrated in this music. And so if you take that aspect of jazz, improvisation, and you apply it to any other genre, whether it be hip-hop or rap or, EDM music, and also if you apply those principles of spontaneity and improvisation into your own life, you'll find the doors swing wide open. I often think of jazz very much like stand-up comedy, when you see two great comedians riffing off of each other and having a conversation, and there's some really special moments that happen where the audience is literally on the ground laughing because maybe they start to riff on something that the audience is doing, or they're making fun of someone in the crowd. Those moments literally only happen on stage and in the moment, and that to me is the incredibleness of jazz, and definitely the first thing that grabbed my heart when I was first learning about it. I remember when my saxophone teacher said, play any note you want, and it's the right note. And it was just like this incredible feeling of freedom, because up to that point, I was playing classical music, and I love classical music, but I felt like I always wanted to make up my own notes, and I wanted to be creative. So the fact that I can pick up the sax and just play whatever I'm feeling. I mean, that was completely improvised in the moment, and I can make it up, and that's the right way to do it. And so I highly recommend for any of you who are searching for that freedom of expression, and you want to get into something creative, listening to jazz, going to jazz, and then playing jazz, and literally just making up your own words and improvising is such a freeing thing. George, I completely agree with you. I'm hoping that it's going to be cool again. So as far as the question of whether it can ever become mainstream again, I think anything can become mainstream. I think we have a lot of stereotypes and preconceived things that come with the word jazz that make it a little harder for it to be completely mainstream, but my hope is that for millennial jazz artists such as myself, that we can really help push the music forward with combining it with other music that we love. I mean, I'm such a fan of electronic music, of pop music. I'm not a snob at anything. I love, my playlist starts from Charlie Parker and Miles Davis and goes to Skrillex. I mean, it's really wide, and I think that is the opportunity that young jazz artists have in bringing it to the masses and to the mainstream. And then the other thing we have to really work on is trying to get to the music venues that mainstream is, and collaborate with other big well-known artists, or maybe for these big well-known artists, if Beyonce decides to have some jazz musicians on and do her jazz CD, I think that's certainly one way that it would get to the mainstream. So it's a discussion that I think is a great one, and definitely worth continuing to explore, and I'd love to hear all of your thoughts on it. One thing I know is that I love playing jazz because of its freedom And at the end of the day, I wanted to become an artist so that I could express my feelings and my emotions. I literally find music to be therapy, and the fact that it reaches you, whether we're together in a live performance and you feel those same things I'm feeling, or you feel them in your own way, or the music brings back memories of certain things, and it's a very powerful medium, and I'm grateful to be an artist and to get to share with all of you and have these amazing moments together. So I'm going to ponder that question. That's definitely my thoughts on it for right now. I'm so proud of our community, of the jazz community, and for getting to see jazz in the television world, like Pham was talking about, get to a wider audience with cats like John Batiste, and being a part of his band. It's been really amazing to see the effect on how people welcome jazz when they learn about it and when they realize that it's so uber cool. And I had some other great questions come in this week. I know there's a few of you still tuned in live, so I'm just going to keep on going. You guys have so many great comments. Thank you so much for sharing and being part of this live stream. And I'm here every Sunday, so we get to do more hanging out. So Anna asked, how do you keep yourself inspired? This is a really great question. Really great question. One of the ways I keep myself inspired is by playing music, and sometimes when things feel too overwhelming and they start to feel kind of stagnant, I literally close the phone, close the computer, and I just focus on writing a song, or I walk outside and I get inspiration by eavesdropping on people. I love to sit in coffee shops and literally listen to people talk. Not in that I'm trying to spy on their lives, but just in the way that there's a lot of inspiration that comes from people talking about their lives. And sometimes I'll just sit there and I'll people watch, and I'll listen to things people are saying, and I have a running note document on my phone where I literally just write ideas for lyrics and ideas for songs. So I think the biggest thing to keep myself inspired is actually just by switching things up. Every time something starts to feel routinely is when I feel my creative energy start to kind of dwindle. So that's the time where I gotta hit up a friend and say, let's jam, or get in a room with someone I haven't written with in a while and get the ideas flowing. I also love to read a lot of new literature. I love being on YouTube, checking out a lot of artists. Recently I've been watching a bunch of this amazing cellist, Tina Guo, and she has such expression with her music, whether she's playing classical cello or heavy metal cello. It's stunning. So I'm on YouTube watching other people. I mean, there's nothing more inspiring than watching others and having those jaw-dropping moments of how do they do that, and then going back into the practice room and shedding. I also happen to be incredibly blessed to live in one of the greatest music cities in the world, New York City, and anytime I'm feeling uninspired, all I have to do is walk out my door and go to any jazz, music, rock, pop club happening, and I leave inspired. So for those of you who don't have instant access to go see shows, I mean, that's a great thing about technology. There's literally so many incredible shows right in the click of your fingers. But I will say, if you do have the opportunity to go see artists that you love and you can get out and support live music, by all means, I hope you do, because speaking from the artist point of view, it is so much appreciated, and there's nothing like the energy of a live crowd. And I really love that question, because it's something that I think about very often as a creative artist and as someone whose job it is to just keep coming up with new songs and music. There's always moments where it feels, like things kind of need a little bit more gas and engine behind. And sometimes it's also really important to just rest. The creative bubble needs its time to regenerate, and there's nothing like getting some really good sleep and just taking in a lot of sights, sounds, things that inspire you, and then spitting it out. Being reunited with the Big Mama. I gotta tell you guys, it feels so good to have her under my fingers. So good. Hello, Ken. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hi, Glenn. Oh, you're so welcome. I'm really delighted to spend time live streaming with you guys, and it actually worked out really well for me to be doing this at night because I have no session to go to. I came back from one. And so I wanted to share one more question with you guys that I got this week from from all of you on the internet land. By the way, I'm reading all of these wonderful comments on YouTube. Saxophone Kid, how did I meet Leo P? If you just tuned in, you should rewind this live stream because I talked about it earlier. Thank you for tuning in, my friend. Hello from Texas. Hello in Russian. Very cool. Yes, someone's talking about muscle memory. The brain doesn't get in the way. Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys for all these yummy comments. So this last question that I wanted to give a little shout out to Sally. Sally asked, what do you have to do differently as a band leader versus a band member? So firstly, are any of you guys tuned in? Are any of you band leaders or professional musicians? I know we got a lot of friends on Instagram who are hoping to be professional musicians. A lot asking about improvisation. Hi, Rich. Hello from New York. Love your talent and energy. Thank you so much. So the biggest difference of being a band leader and a band member is as a leader, you really have to craft and create your own path in this music industry and in the world. And I am grateful to have the best fans, that's all of you, the best fans, the most supportive fans in the whole wide world. And it's because of you that I'm able to do what I love to do and to share the music to all of you in live performance, in live streams, online. As a band leader, there's a lot of responsibilities that you don't necessarily have as a band member. Creating, it literally goes down to the nitty-gritties of booking the gig, booking the flights for your band members to fly in, making sure that all of the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted, doing meet and greets, signing after shows when sometimes all you feel like doing is collapsing on the ground and drinking a glass of wine. Well, there's been a few moments of that, but actually signing autographs and getting to meet all of you is one of my favorite moments of live performances because it's literally my only time that I get to hear from all of you guys about what the music has meant. And my God, there have been some incredibly touching stories from all of you. And then a lot of you reaching out online also and telling me stories about how my music has affected your life, and I'm beyond thrilled because that is literally the best feeling for somebody who's creating the music and the art. And as a band leader, you also have to take care of creating all the music, making all the lead sheets for your band, and also on a day-to-day basis answering business emails. I'm really lucky to have a wonderful team around me that also handles a lot of logistical things and really helps me out because it's a lot to deal with from the business end and from the creative end, literally like flipping that switch of being a creator and thinking about writing a song and then like answering an email about something business related is kind of a hard thing for me to go back and forth on. So I I like to kind of craft my days. So I like to craft my days so that I might start my mornings with writing a song, and I turn off my phone, and I really focus on being a creator and doing what I love the most, which is making music. And then later in the afternoon, get to more of the business side of things and get to emails and writing back to a lot of comments. The other thing about being a band leader is literally creating your own schedule of when am I going to make my next album. In this case of my latest project, Go Time Brooklyn, scheduling not only going into the studio but having a live audience be there and creating my very first video album, aligning the guests for the music, checking in with their schedules, seeing if they want to be a part of it, reaching out to other artists about collaborations or answering other artists about being a part of other projects. And then there is a whole nother conversation about social media, which is something I really love, because when I'm able to create content, it gets straight to you guys and I get your feedback. And that is something that, we didn't, when I was first starting over 10 years ago, because I started as a professional musician when I was 12 years old. That's when I made my first CD. I wasn't able to get that direct feedback. And so to literally create content and then get it out to you guys and put it up on YouTube and read your comments is one of the greatest things about technology. And it's also quite, it's a hustle when you're your own band leader to kind of have this balance of self-promotion and to live life, a private life, and to also be out there performing, and then also be planning the next thing. As a side music, as a band member, it's fantastic because everyone else meaning the band leader is taking care of all the details, and you kind of just show up and you play the gig. So I also do a fair amount of work as band members for television productions and in the past some projects. And it's funny because it's almost like when you get used to lifting really heavy weights and then you go and you lift lighter weights, you're like, oh, this is super easy. So actually when I don't have to think about anything else except just showing up and playing the part on the music, like I have a session this week and I got hired just to play the baritone saxophone. It just kind of seems like a walk in the park, and it's something I very much enjoy doing because all I have to think about is putting a reed on my saxophone and playing. Being a band leader, there's literally, you have to think about all of the other things surrounding it, and there's plenty of stories that come with, whether it was like missing flights or a band member missing flights or, having to show up at the gig and, the equipment's not there, or we've had moments last summer in Germany where literally our van broke down in the middle of the highway, and I didn't have data on my cell phone, so I couldn't make any calls. And that's the last time that happened. Then I learned that it's important to get an international cell phone plan. So I only could connect to Wi-Fi. Luckily, I had band members that had international data, and we were able to call the club and the producer and say, we're stuck on the highway right now. And he came and he picked us up in his car and then brought us straight to sound check, and it ended up being wonderful. But it was literally like, your responsibility as a band leader is to make sure that things are running smoothly, or if they're not running smoothly and you break down in the middle of the highway, you gotta just figure it out. And I'm very lucky to have amazing people around me to make those moments smoother, but they're certainly a little stressful and bumpy in the moment. There's just a bajillion stories of that, and I have to say that when I started to be my own leader and to be an artist, I was really young. I was 12 years old, and I literally didn't know what I was doing. I would go on stage, and I had all these professional musicians playing with me, and they were all looking at me to tell them what to play and what to do. I remember the first time I was in a recording studio, I was 12 years old, and all of these, these seasoned musicians who are hired for the recording session, they're all teaching at Berklee College of Music. John Lockwood was playing bass. He's played with Stan Getz. He's played with Dizzy Gillespie. And he was suddenly asking me, Grace, what do you want me to play on the bridge? And here I am, like 12-year-old Grace, not knowing what exactly to say. But everyone's looking at me, and I kind of learned from early on that is part of the responsibility. And the very cool thing about being a band leader of getting to be a director, and there's certain days that I feel much more confident in my direction and the way that I like to kind of lead my career and lead the music, and there's some days that I just don't know what the hell I'm doing. So, and I'm sure that's the case with a lot of you, or if it isn't the case, then I need to get some lessons. I need to get some life lessons from you. But it certainly is a very exciting life to be an artist and a band leader, because there's never a single day that doesn't have something different to it. I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly in situations when I'm on tour that a new thing happens or a new challenge happens, and I learn from it. And very much like jazz and improvising and going with the flow, it becomes this like, all right, we're just going to figure this out. That's kind of like been my life in music and my life as a band leader, of like people asking me questions, or, breaking down on the highway and being like, okay, we're going to figure it out. There's no time to do anything otherwise. Or jumping into a new song on stage, or breaking out a new dance move. Like, these are all moments that are definitely full of a little bit of intimidation and anxiety, but it isn't until I take the leap and I just go for it and learn from that real life experience. That's the greatest teacher. And the next time that comes around, I have an experience to draw from. So I'm incredibly grateful that from a very young age, I've been kind of thrown into these career things, and they've helped me become a much more of a flexible, spontaneous person in my everyday life, because jazz and improvisation has certainly been the greatest teacher. And I actually have a TED Talk, a TEDx talk that I did all about the art of improvisation, and I talk about bringing improvisation into your own life, so you guys can YouTube it. I'm so tickled that there's quite a few of you that are still tuned in while I'm chatting away. Diego, great to hear from you on YouTube. Yes, Ross has been having to sub out a bunch of gigs because he's been on tour with Manhattan Transfer, and he's probably like touring Europe right now. He's in pretty awesome places. So we have had a wonderful drummer, Philippe, who's been subbing and doing a fantastic job. It's, of course, always, we always miss our band members, but it's wonderful to have some great people stepping in. AJ is saying, hello, glad to see you on. You have inspired me to pick my sax back up. AJ, that is the greatest news. Send me a video of you playing on Facebook or on Instagram. Be happy to give you some tips. I love, love, love the fact that I've been getting messages from a bunch of you saying that you're either inspired to pick the saxophone back up, or you are getting more heavily into your practicing. That makes me so, so happy. So with that, my friends, I'm going to sign off. I want to thank you all for tuning in with me live. This has been such a pleasure, and I will be here next Sunday. We might be back to the regular time of 1 p.m. EST, or maybe we'll be back at the nighttime. Leave a comment and let me know if it's better for you to tune in live at night or during the day, because there's nothing more fun than getting to have this interaction with you guys commenting. So I want to sign off with a song that my mom requested. This is an original of mine. It's called Blues for Harry Bosch. There is a wonderful Amazon TV show. It's actually an Emmy-nominated TV show based on a New York Times best-selling book series by Michael Connelly about this fictional character, Harry Bosch. And you may see somebody you know in season 2 performing on it. It's been super cool to see that this Amazon show has been going people have been loving it, and I think they're already filming season 5. They're rocking it, and I'm so grateful to Michael Connolly for being a supporter, and he really he's such an incredible inspiration. His writing is mind blowing, and he's so it blows my mind that he comes out with a new book every year. So thank you guys so much for all of your sweet comments. Goodbye for now, and here's a little blues for Harry Bosch. See you guys next Sunday. Good night, friends. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Sending much love, and I will see you guys next week. Sending all my best. Okay, now I have to figure out how to turn this off.